Yo, what's up, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today we're going to be talking about the Houston Rockets potentially signing Jonathan Williams, or more known as Nate Williams, to a standard contract. Nate Williams, who's been with the Rockets the last 2 seasons, and both of his 2 seasons with the Rockets has been on a two-way deal. Last year was on a two-way contract, played 22 games with the team and averaged 6 minutes per game and shot 54% from the floor, 3 points per game. And that preseason, in last year's season, the 2023-24 season, put up some amazing numbers in the preseason. Then this season, he has not played much, averaged 4 points per game. Has averaged 4 points per game this season, but it's not what he's done this season. It's what he did last night, which I think should potentially make this team consider giving him a standard deal. Jonathan Williams, in 18 minutes, shot 5 for 9, 1 for 3 from 3, had 11 points. He had 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and was a key part of the Houston Rockets' 24-point comeback to cut the lead against the Golden State Warriors to only 2 points. To me, I thought it was really impressive that the Houston Rockets, against Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler, were down 24 points and came back and cut the lead to 2 points with being led by Aaron Holiday, Jock Landale, and Nate Williams. Last night I was at the game, and unfortunately it was the first loss I have witnessed this season. I had a 5-0 streak this year before going to the game, so maybe I just don't go to any more games this year. I don't know, So I was at the game last night, loved what I saw from Jonathan Williams, but I was sitting pretty close to GM Rafael Stone. And I even got to talk to Stone last night. We didn't actually really talk about the Rockets at all. I talked to him for about a minute. But I had an aunt who actually passed away that was really close friends with his wife. And I got to meet his wife at her funeral, and she was awesome. He wasn't there. But I just wanted to say hello to him and tell him that I love everything he's doing. I'm a big Rockets fan. And we talked for a minute, or maybe it was 2. I don't know. A minute or 2. And so I was every time I kind of saw Nate Williams do something, what went through my mind was, hey, maybe do we need to consider bringing this guy on a standard contract? Because there's 15 standard contracts on a roster, and the Rockets just traded for Cody Zeller. They got their 2028 second-round pick back from Atlanta, and I thought that was a solid trade because you give up nothing, you get your own second-round pick back. All you got to do is take on a salary in Cody Zeller. But for some reason, the Rockets have wanted to keep that salary. I mean, like with Jaden Springer, they got a second-round pick from Boston with Jaden Springer. They cut Jaden Springer. But Zeller's just been hanging around. He has not been available for any game so far this season with the Rockets since we traded for him. He's and I don't know if he ever will. So cut Cody Zeller, and I think the Rockets should do one or two things once you free up that roster spot. That has Cody Zeller, that would open up a roster spot by cutting Cody Zeller. Either sign, Jonathan Williams to standard contract, convert his contract to standard, and he's that 15th man on the roster. Or I wouldn't mind potentially the Rockets going after Patrick Beverley. Brings good energy, good defensively, solid three-point shooter, shot 37% for three in his career, and that's something the Rockets could really use. So I would not mind Beverley on this team, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Rockets went after him just because of the fact that the Rockets did make a push for him in July before he went to Israel. He had offers from the Rockets and Pistons, who are now both top 6 seeds in their respected conferences. Detroit's at 6 and the Rockets are at 4. But he still went and played overseas. I don't think there's a problem playing overseas. A lot of players do it. But when you had good options to join teams that, are having great success right now, it kind of looks bad on you, especially when he's no longer playing with the team that's overseas. But I don't think the Pistons are going to potentially go after Pat Bev just because they have picked up Schroeder already. I think he looks great with them. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets potentially made a move for Pat. But if the Rockets don't go after Beverley, I would love to see Nate Williams converted to a two-way deal. I really would. And, so it's something I think is possible happening. Now, we'll see what happens because, I was going to say that maybe you would want to give him some more minutes before you decide on potentially giving him a standard deal, but I don't know how that would work just because, you're going into the All-Star break and the Rockets' next game is February 21st against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that is a game where they're getting Jabari Smith Jr. back. Tari's going to be back. He didn't play last night. He's going to be back because he was really only out because it was a back-to-back. Fred should be back. Obviously, Steven will be healthy. Şengün will be. I think almost everybody's going to be healthy in that game against the Timberwolves. There's no real chance to give Williams any more potential minutes, meaningful minutes like he just received against the Warriors. So if they decide to give him a standard contract, they're going to be judging that off of one game with meaningful minutes. And is that something the Rockets want to do? That's another question. For instance, a couple guys have with other teams, other teams have kind of given players that they have on two-way deals a couple games before they can, say, hey, all right, we're going to give you a standard deal. For instance, I'll just throw a couple out there. The 76ers trade for Jared Butler, and they acquire him for Reggie Jackson, send Reggie Jackson in a first-round pick to Washington and get 4 seconds in Butler, and he comes in on a two-way deal. He plays about 2 or 3 good games with Philly, and then yesterday they signed him a standard deal. They gave it about 2 or 3 games before deciding to give him that standard deal. For instance, same thing with Quentin Post and the Golden State Warriors, who the Rockets just saw last night. The Warriors waited a couple games, let him start a couple games, and once they saw some good potential from him, they gave him a standard deal. Same thing, we can go back to Philadelphia with Justin Edwards. They gave him a good amount of games before deciding to give him a standard deal. Do you want to just judge off of one game with Nate Williams and say, all right, we saw this one game from him, and he had a good enough game just to give him a standard contract, and that's something because I know for a fact when the Rockets get back from the All-Star break, they're not going to have the time or the space to give him more minutes because you're going to have Jabari back, you're going to have Fred back, you're going to have Tari back, and those guys being out, plus other guys like Jalen and Şengün and the other guys that were struggling last night were a big reason why Nate Williams got minutes last night. So I don't know if there's much of a chance for him to get minutes in the future. So maybe possibly we don't see him get signed as standard. But the one move I'd love to see the Rockets make is cut Cody Zeller and then either decide on bringing in Beverly or converting Williams to a standard deal. Let me know your thoughts on the potential signing for the Rockets in the comment section, and peace out. Go Rockets.